Theo. Today we'll be looking at Csec Economics Compilation 100 questions every year since 2008 to 2014 or 2024 to have a comprehensive understanding of some repeated questions and some questions that usually always repeats for Csec Economics. Without further ado, guys, let's actually start. So first of all, this is on the term globalization when it says define the role of the WTO or World Trade Organization. So the role of the World Trade Organization, also known as WTO, is to regulate trade policies between countries. This could mean making sure that there's certain regulations to maintain free trade between countries. The second question is list three factors that influence the exports of goods and services. They are like trade policies, and that's usually implemented by the WTO. So those two terms they tie up each other a lot. And we have tariffs. This is tariffs on imports or taxes on imports. Quotas, meaning that we have a limit on the amount of goods that we could actually bring into an economy. And we have something called CET, which is common external tariff. There is other form of tariffs such as preferential tariff and reciprocal tariffs. Those are some of the things that influence um, exports of goods and services. And CET is common external tariffs on non-member state. This is in like if you are part of the European Union will impose a certain tax on non-member states. So I believe we covered off that. Moving on to question three. It's this question is outline two factors that might cause a country to devalue its currency. First of all, this is usually occurrence in a recession or time of economical difficulty. A country may or may not will usually devalue its currency in a situation, which is the amount of money in circulation, right? Through the central banks. So depending on the economical state of the country, they may resort to devaluation of its currency. Another situation whereby they may devalue their currency is when there's too much of an influx of money on or an over circulation of money in the economy. So for question four, it says discuss two consequences of balance of payments deficit in your territory. Some economical consequences of reduced balance of payments is reduced aggregated demand. This means that a balance of payments deficits occurs when a country imports more goods and services than it exports. And this could lead to a negative multiplier effect, which lead into lower consumption and investment in your country. We have something called currency depreciation. This is another situation where a currency may be depreciated, which is a balance of payments deficit. um, a persistent balance payment deficit can undermine investor confidence, meaning that they see your market as a bear market and they won't want to make any investments. Question 5, it says list three characteristics of Caribbean economies. Caribbean economies are usually a source of tourism, but usually they are very small territories like the Barbados Islands. Majority of the Caribbean are inclusive of islands, and islands, as we know, are not very big. And we have something called open markets, wherein by the all of these economies are very open with their markets. And then we have question 6, list three ways of measuring international income. We have something called the income method, GNP, gross national product method, and we have the expenditure method to see how much we're actually expending, the income method to see how much we're receiving, and the gross national product is basically a sublimation of both of those things. Moving on, we have question 7, which asks a very basic question. Outline two factors that might influence savings. So everyday necessities, you buy things every day. The age of individuals, it could depend on what they need. For example, if you're an adolescent or if you're within your early 20s, you might spend a lot more than when you're in your 50s. And we have interest rates. Sometimes you have income taxes, or the amount of income that you have. It might be a 2% income tax, and that will be reduced from the amount of money that you have. Economical state, if the economy is going through inflation or recession or deflation and what's not, that will affect the amount of money you have, thus which will affect the amount of savings you have. Then we have question 8. Let me go back to that. Distinguish between economic growth and economical development. So economical growth refers to an increase in GDP, which is gross domestic product, or the amount of products in the economy as a whole. While on the other hand, economic growth or economical development, sorry for that, refers to the natural industries that contribute to GDP growth. It could also mean improvement to the living standards and quality of life. Economical development is referral to one specific sector, while economical growth refers to the whole economy or everything in the economy, everything, while economical development refers to different sectors of an economy. So the last question on our list today, or not second to last, I would like to say, is define trade liberalization and globalization. Trade liberalization is just basically removal of trade barriers and taxes on imports, while globalization is a term used for the world becoming a global market. I don't believe that if any definition could get simpler than that. Move on to our final question of the day, which is question 10. Outline three benefits of trade liberalization to Caribbean economies. So first of all is joint development. You have more access to different economies, and that could lead to better investment and overall development. Innovation. Since you're working with other economies, there is better opportunities for innovation to occur, higher production levels due to more accessibility to resources, better quality of life because of more resources, and free movement of skilled personnel. And for more information, guys, you could check out the link to the document as on the screen. Anyways, guys, all the best. See you guys in the next video. The Study Prep guys out.